So this is just a quick update from my previous video where I had cut the panels for my hive bodies. I've now assembled them with a great amount of assistance from a jig and a few clamps. Without, I would probably have given up. I made a few mistakes. As you can see, my pocket holes I sometimes did not set up correctly, or I would drill them on the wrong spot. And there's pocket holes on the inside on one or two of the hive bodies. Those are mistakes that I will probably iron out as I get used to the method of assembling these bodies. But they don't affect the functionality. The functionality is the biggest priority for me, especially since I'm going to be using these hives for myself and I'm not selling them as such. So function is the most important thing. I'm happy with the way the frames sit in the hive. These frames I did not make as I suggested in the previous video. These frames come from my sample hive. I just use and I'm very happy with how they sit in the hive body. I was going to use a router to do these grooves for the frames to sit, but I just used a circular saw and a chisel, and that worked out amazing. And in my view, probably less dust was generated as well. I would have generated a huge amount of dust had I used a router, and from the reviews and videos that I've seen, dust collection for a router is very tricky. My workshop, I'm pretty happy with how clean it is, relatively speaking. I'm speaking about dust. There's not a lot of dust here. I do spend quite a bit of time cleaning the area to ensure that the dust doesn't leak into my living area of my apartment. Just coming back to the frames are a big problem. I don't know how to solve it. In the previous video, said I was going to be using these 4 sheets of pine to make the frames. But from this 4 sheets of ply, which cost me 600 Rand, I would only be able to make 35 frames with a huge amount of labor. Actually, I'm just looking at the frames. They actually look more labor intensive than the hive bodies themselves. So I've ordered 100 frames. They're under 20 Rand a frame. And so I will save a huge amount of time and money. And that is what I can't solve. It's like, how do these people make these frames for so cheap? It's a puzzle that I'm still struggling with, and the frames that I would have made would have excluded the wiring. So not only are the frames cheap, but they come with wiring. So it's just it's a problem I can't solve. The hive bodies I definitely can make for cheaper, and lots of flexibility that I would have if I make my own bodies, as I've done here. So if I were to buy a Langstroth hive like this one, I would pay quite a bit for the deep body. And if I buy the complete thing, then I have to buy the medium chamber, and I'm not happy with the medium chambers. I'll probably discuss that in another video as to why I've gone for 2 deep chambers for one hive. I'll touch that at a later stage. I don't know what else to say. This is just a quick update on what I've done so far. I'm waiting for the frames that will come next week. I will purchase another sheet of plywood. So these bodies have no lids and no floors, so I have to get another sheet of plywood, and that would be sufficient for these hives to have lids and floors. Incidentally, just as another fact, That would mean it would have taken me 3 sheets of plywood to make 4 hives, with both with 2 deep chambers and lids and floors. That's like 3 sheets of plywood. Um, I'm very happy with that. That comes to under 2,000 Rand for what you see here. If I would have purchase it off the shelf, I would spend a lot more money. I'm not, yeah, so I'm pretty happy with the numbers at the moment. I will be using these. I will still be using the pine wood. I'll still be using it to make frames, but not for these hive bodies. I'll probably be using it for my indoor observation hives, where the frames need to be customized, where they're not the standard size. So yeah, that's it for now. I'll probably make a video next week when the hives are completely done with the lids and floors. So until then.